All right. So today's Thursday, December 1st, and we're going to start writing our conclusions for our essays. And you might have already written it, but maybe you'll hear something today that makes you want to change it a little bit or edit it a bit. So to get information on how to write your conclusion, you kind of have three places to go. You have Florida Virtual. And if you looked back at the original lesson, it told you that if you went back to assignment 3.04 and looked on page, let me see, I have the page open. On page 9 of lesson 3.04, they go over writing a conclusion. So that's one place you could go look for some ideas. A second place you could look for ideas is in your handout. It's got some information on writing a conclusion. And I actually took a picture of that and opened it up, and I'm going to go through the suggestions that they have right there. And then the third place is by watching this video and listening to what I have to say. So the most important thing at the end of your essay, it is a super important part of your essay because it's your last chance to convince your audience of your opinion. So no matter what you're writing your essay about, at the very end of it, you kind of want to say, hey, it's super important that you read this essay for these reasons, and leave them with some advice, a question, a call to action, whatever you think they should do after they've read your essay. So let me show you, first of all, I'm going to share the assignment itself. So if I share my screen right now and we go to lesson 3.04, wrapping up your writing, here it is. Page 9 had conclusions. So lesson 3.04, stanzas and poems rolling up the river. Page 9, wrapping up your writing. Your conclusion paragraph is just as important as all of the other paragraphs. The first sentence uses a transition word or a phrase to signal that you're beginning to wrap up your writing. So that would be a word like in conclusion, or finally, or now you see, or after reading this, or something that makes people know that this is the last paragraph. The conclusion restates your opinion or your thesis and your three main points. So you actually repeat whatever you've been saying throughout the essay. It is important for kids to have cell phones. Remember, it's important for kids to have cell phones for these three reasons. Or remember, pandas are terrible animals and should not be protected for these main reasons. It usually ends with a closing statement that connects the topic or opinion with something for the reader to think about. Take a look at the writer's checklist for the conclusion paragraph. Read conclusion A and B, which one has the elements. We're not going to do all of that right now, but you want it to restate the controlling idea or the thesis. Provide closure, so some words that sound like the end. So like finally, or in the future, or now that you've read this, something like that, and has transition words. Use the conclusions anchor chart as a reminder of the important elements. A strong conclusion should restate the idea, wrap up the writing, give the reader a sense of closure. And I think it's nice when things say this, but this doesn't really tell you how to write it, does it? The anchor chart for conclusions, I haven't even taken a very close, oh, it's the same thing. That's what I thought it was. Okay, so now what I'm actually going to share with you is this, and I think I have to change my share because I'm not sure you can see that one. Let me go back to my share screen and switch it to this one. There we go. So this is a picture of your handout that you had, the one that I handed you that's the big graphic organizer. And it says a strong closing could end with a question. I like this because this gives you suggestions of how to end your essay. For example, you could say, to summarize, while candy is tasty, it also carries health risks and should be kept out of schools. Will you keep candy out of your school? A question. In conclusion, the benefits of class pets outweigh the negatives. Will you ask your teacher for a class pet? So that's ending with a question. I think actually Sophia did that yesterday, and she said, do you want a cell phone or something like that? It could be some advice. Give your readers some advice. To sum up, I suggest you trade in your candy for delicious fruit. Or in conclusion, let me advise you to ask your teacher to adopt a class pet. Or now that you've read this, I think that you should go out and buy a cell phone. Or after reading this, take it to your parents and have them read why you need your own room. Eli, go ahead.
Something's wrong with my essay.
What?
I can't get on Google Docs.
Oh, somebody had trouble with that the other day. We'll work on that in a minute, but just for right now, let's finish the lesson and then we'll work on that, okay?
Okay.
A call to action. I would recommend that you log all the way out and try logging back in. Evie was having a terrible time with that the other day. I don't know if she got it solved. So a call to action is like, now that you've read about the injustice in the world, I think Sasha's writing one on how you should treat people equally, no matter who they are. So you might actually think that people need to do something about that and maybe write a letter to the paper or stand up to bullies or whatever. So a call to action, finally, stand up and say no to candy at school. Or finally, the next time you see someone treating someone badly because of how they look or what their religion is, speak up and support everyone at your school. Or in conclusion, start a campaign. These are the actual words. You can copy these sentences and just put your topic in. So if you like one of these sentences and you think it would sound good at the end of your essay, you should choose one. In conclusion, start a campaign at your school to bring class pets to campus. Or it could be a summary. So at the end, you might want to sum everything up. In brief, eating candy can cause tooth decay, obesity, and other health problems. Therefore, it should be kept out of schools. Or to summarize, the benefits of class pets, such as the way they teach responsibility and help students gain confidence, outweigh the negatives. Okay, so those are strong closings. You actually have that in your little handout. So if you want to grab that and look at it for some ideas, I think those are really good ideas. I'm going to stop my share right there and give you a couple of other ideas of ways that you can end your essay. One way is you can look up an essay online and see ways that people end essays. So you could look online at an essay on your topic. Did you know probably there are a whole bunch of essays on your topic? For example, Nora, what is your topic? Again, it's parents who trust their kids, right? Okay, so let's say I wanted to see if there was an essay on that, I would probably just go right into my computer and go to a new tab, and I would write essay, why parents need to trust their kids. And so here we go. And it's got a whole bunch. Why trust is important. Parents trust. These are probably all essays on that. So there are a bunch of them. Let's look at this one quickly. Topic, losing parents' trust. So it's a little bit different, but it's got a whole bunch of information. I don't know if it'll let us go to right at the end of it and see how they finished this essay. But nowadays, one of the things you have, it's not going to let us without joining. Nowadays, one of the things you have to be a little bit careful about, though, online is that you can right now look for ideas. Students, let's see, fifth grade opinion essay on trust. You can look for all sorts of, read this and score this 5-paragraph essay. Look at that. Let's see how this one finished. It says, my great-grandfather, my hero. Oh, that's not on trust. So that one's not. Oh, here's an essay on trust. Free essays on trust. You can find lots of essays on trust, and you can look at them and you can get ideas. You can't copy the exact words. That actually is stealing, believe it or not. And when you get into high school and college, you can get a D or an F, or you can get in trouble for doing that. You can actually get kicked out of college. So like where my husband teaches, if you copy things word for word and you steal someone's essay, you can get in huge trouble. So you don't want to steal it, but it's okay to read it and get ideas and then sort of copy the ideas that you find. So if you're really stuck for words, I don't want anyone to tell me I couldn't come up with any ideas, Ms. Laws. Because
I
there
have
are
an idea.
tons online. You have an idea of how to close yours? Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to open breakout rooms today, but if you need to talk to me, I will stay on and you can Zoom back on and work with me on your essay if you'd like.